Apple is also dropping iTunes, which they're going to be replacing it with 3 different apps. I believe it was music, like Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Apple TV or Apple Movies or Apple
Huh.
one of.
What an interesting move.
Yeah, I guess they're getting rid of the whole I system in general.
I mean, that makes sense.
Is what
I
it
think
sounds
it's like
like.
cheesy, the iTunes,
It was cool in the 90s and 2000s, but now, you know, marketing has moved on.
I'm not sure for the consumer to split all of those things what the benefit would be, because if you want to listen to something, wouldn't it be nice to just search all of your listenable things, podcasts with music and so forth?
There's nuances to it because the way you listen to podcasts is not the way you listen to music.
What do you mean?
So music, you often create like a playlist of music, and you have a whole different interface.
You'll listen to it again and repeatedly.
Yeah, you don't like shuffle. You don't necessarily shuffle your podcast or create playlists of podcasts.
Okay, I can see what you're saying.
So it's kind of the concept of like you could have one app that does everything kind of shitty, or 3 apps that do everything kind of well.
Okay, that makes sense. I just get bogged down with too many. I've got too many, and I'm sure I'm gonna need more over the years.
Yeah, it's I've been finding I find it easier to find exactly what you want to do. Find an app that helps you do that. And then if it works alongside with other apps, then great. So, for instance, Google is our example right now when it comes to phones. We use the Pixels because if you went with Samsung, you have all the Google apps because it's a Google Android operating system, and all the Samsung apps, which are already going to overlap with each other.
It's redundant.
Because Samsung has their own mail app, their own internet
Fitness.
app, their own fit app,
Yeah.
things like that. So neither one of them is better than the other. So
But you couldn't uninstall them was a part of the problem that I had when I had my Samsung.
Exactly. And also Samsung is partnering with other things like Facebook. You can't uninstall Facebook from Samsung.
You can't uninstall Facebook?
Nope.
That's so
at least in the Samsungs
annoying.
that I've seen recently.
Wow.
So we just stick with Google because it's pure Android experience. Yes, we have the Google apps, but then we don't have any of the other apps. So our music is the Google Music, our podcast or the Google Podcast. Very straightforward. One system correlating with all the apps. I actually stopped using Google Fit though, and ended up using Google Fit or Fitbit because I think the system in there was better.
I don't love either of them.
Yeah, they're not the greatest, but I think the system that Fitbit has is better than the Google Fit system. The one problem it doesn't have is the weightlifting tracking. You can track the amount of time and the intensity of your workout, but you can't actually track like your goals and things. So I have just one separate app just for that portion, and it doesn't sync with it, but it doesn't necessarily have to because that app is good at doing the one thing really well, which is tracking weights, while Google Fit can track general health goals pretty well. Or Fitbit, sorry. Not Google Fit. But yeah, so those are the kind of the two that's kind of the situation where instead of just having Fitbit be the all-in-one, having 2 apps, but trying to minimize the amount of apps that you're using, but get everything that you want to have done. Back to your complaint, which was you don't want to have all sorts of apps for everything. That's it. I get it, and that's what I do is try to minimize the amount of apps I'm using by just focusing on what I want my phone to do, and then don't bother with anything else.